old, born and raised in Groningen. My parents' house is approximately 10 minutes from here. I'm the current president of ESN Groningen. I have a bachelor's in international relations, master's in international security, currently delaying my studies for a year because ESN is a full-time year. And as the face of the organization, I represent ESN.
I'm Kenza, I'm coming from France. I've been here in Groningen for 2 years, planning to stay a bit longer, and in ESN I'm the integration coordinator, which means that I have a lot of creativity to come up with a lot of projects and new ideas on how to facilitate the integration of international students here.
I'm Sonja, I'm 24 years old. I am from Hungary. I live here in Groningen for almost 3 years. It's going to be 3 years in the summer. I came here to do an exchange originally in 2020 August. I'm the external relations coordinator, so I'm responsible for partnerships, commercial relations, and all kinds of acquisition, negotiating things.
What do you think is one of the biggest advantages for international students when they are connected to ESN opposed to when they are not part of ESN?
I would say definitely the social network. So if you come to a foreign country, of course you don't know many people. That's also what I experienced. It's really difficult to make connections, especially if you're not a student. Let's say you're doing an internship, then you don't even have that kind of social network from your class or from the university. So I would say definitely gives you the chance to connect with people, like-minded people, learn new things about new cultures, and experience how it is to be part of a community. And I think it's really important. If you go abroad, of course homesick, you miss things from home. It's really important that you have some kind of community to belong to. I think that's what ESN offers. Also, I would say if you are not part of ESN, you're missing out a lot on special events, parties, also companies that you can get to know through our ESN card deals, for example. So I would say it gives a lot of possibilities to connect with people.
The biggest thing is that we've been around for quite a while, 35 years this year.
Okay.
So we had some time to learn and to build a network, and the students can really make use of that network to their own benefit.
You already talked a bit about the connections that you have with companies here in Groningen.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the biggest things that you do as well, right?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Connect new companies and you talk to existing companies.
Yeah.
What are some companies that really offer advantages for the students that stay here?
Yeah, so we have our ESN card, as I mentioned already. That's what we give every student who would like to join our events. It's only €8.50 for the whole year, so it's a very good deal.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of discounts with this card. Those discounts are usually local, so what we always do is try to find restaurants, shops, bars, clubs that are interested to make a partnership. We're always trying to see places that can be fitted to our community, so places that are welcoming students. That's usually not an issue in Groningen, but that's our main focus, of course, the interest of the students. And we have also partnerships with some services, big companies that we think is also useful for the students. For example, a bank, we have partnership with ABN AMRO, so we of course offer students, I go to this bank if you come to the Netherlands. It's very useful to have a Dutch bank account, as you know. Also we have partnerships with health insurance companies, also with some bike providers, so we really try to offer everything to the students who come here, kind of like a package, so that they already know where to go, what do you have to do. We also offer them, of course, a lot of information packages, so of course how to get GP, how to get around in the city, all kinds of useful information. So we're always trying to see partnerships that really fit the needs of the students.
You also have an event called Integration Night.
Yeah.
It's quite big.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the Integration Night is like a recurrent project every year. It's really, let's say, as the integration coordinator, it's my biggest project of the year, I would say. And so it's something in collaboration with other student associations.
Okay.
So we collaborate with Albertus Vindicat Discarders, but also Sor, Sib and AJ for this year.
Okay, wow.
In the past we had USBA, our contractors was involved, but yeah, it changed a bit different depending on the years. It's a little bit, sometimes associations come in, like, let's go and do the adventure. So it's really dependent. And then the project is trying to maybe open the door of those more exclusive associations to international students for just a night. And so we usually have like an event that is separated into the three buildings of Albertus Vindicat and Discarders.
Okay.
And we go do an activity per building. So for example, this year there was a pub quiz at Albertus, then a dinner at Vindicat, and then a beer contest at Discarders. So first of all, that's really nice because people get to see the building. They're always like, wow, the Vindicat building, for example, you see it, it's very present. You know, Hodemarkt, you always see all those people in the balcony, and you kind of like feel that little, ooh, let's go see inside. So that's always nice. But then it's also, of course, you bring people, a lot of people from the different associations together for one night. So we always have a lot of sign-ups coming from every associations, and then you get to meet some people. We also have quite some sign-up, for example, for Discarders this year, which brings also a lot of Dutch students to the table, which is also really nice and doable for integration night. And then, for example, the beer contest is very Dutch student traditional as well. So I think it's kind of fun to experience once when you're a student here.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens, basically.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest tips that students don't necessarily think about right away that you have for them when they come to live in the Netherlands?
So yeah, I would say go over the basics, and I would not necessarily say it's tips, but you really just have to do it when you come to the Netherlands. It's like get a BSN, get a bank account. I also always advise to get a job or something. I think it's very nice. Some of the tips are more on the side, like I kind of touched upon one of the tips already that I would have. But I think it's also very nice. Maybe you underestimate it a little bit because in the Netherlands there is no incentive to learn Dutch, I feel like, because all of the people, like, you can live a perfect life in the Netherlands without speaking any word of Dutch, in a sense, like if you have to go to the supermarket or you can get around speaking English. But I especially saw a lot of people later on in life, for example, if they want to work here or they stay here, that they still find some barriers when they cannot speak Dutch, especially in work life, for example. And it's and it's also on the one that, like, you don't have to be fluent in Dutch or proficient, but it's interesting to know what the people have on their mind, what they find interesting, and to learn the language a little bit. And I learned that it connects really easily, so I would also kind of say, try to learn some Dutch. Maybe try to find out what people find interesting in the Netherlands, get into student culture a little bit, I would say.
What are some of the other things that you recommend someone to do who's just come to Groningen?
Just come to Groningen, I would say, well, it depends when you arrive, but for example, in August we organize summer activities. It's between the Keiweek and ESN Introduction Week.
Okay.
And it's very, I would say, low-key activities, like you go maybe on a boat tour or you go just play games in a park. And it's just really nice because if you arrive as a new incoming student in the summer, a little bit early before university, you literally know no one. Especially if you don't live in a student house, then it's really difficult to make friends, so it's a really good starting point to get to know people at a personal level, because it's not a huge scale events with like thousands of people. It's just little intimate, nice, and it also gives you the little incentive to be like, okay, let's go out, let's go meet some people. So
yeah, well, I'm sure that Jeffrey already mentioned Introduction Week. I also talked about it a bit, but since this is our upcoming event, that's the closest. It's really the best opportunity for international students to get to know the city, to make friends. If you are going to start your study here, that's the first thing you should do, because it really starts your life. You get to know the art associations, the sport associations, the parties, the city. It really gives you a head start on everything. So I would really recommend to join that. It's from the 1st of September until the 6th of September, so it's really at the start of the year.
We have our interaction week coming up, so if you're thinking about coming to the Netherlands to study, you have the possibility to sign up. And also, if you're already in the city and you would like to contribute, you can become introduction guide or crew. I think that's a very nice way also to learn more about the city, help people with the integration. For example, if you are already here, help them in the same way that some other people helped you, and that's how we keep the thing going.
Yeah.
I like how to keep the cycle.
And they can just sign up through your website?
Yeah, everything is on our website.
ESN-Groningen.nl?
Yes.